Hey boys, welcome back to another video on the channel. We are in round 22. Before we get to it though, let's go ahead and see how we did last week. Now, as far as overall tips go, we did get 5 from 8 correct. The 3 losses were 3 red carpets. You hate to see that. The Broncos getting absolutely dominated at home by the Bulldogs. That was crazy. A super tippable performance from the Bulldogs. Also, the Fins went down as well as the Rabbitohs. As for the picks, we did get one perfect game with the Cowboys 1-12 and Jeremiah and a nice saluting, and margins in the other 3 matches, the Storm, Roosters and the Panthers. So yeah, pretty decent. Tough to nail these try scorers, but let's go ahead and take a look at what round 22 has in store and make some picks. And in the first match of the round, we have the Tigers hosting the Cowboys, and this is being played at Leichhardt Oval. So starting with the home team with the ins and outs, they'll be without Fonua Bole, Luke Lolili'i and Stafford Doa. And making their way back into the 17, they've got Solomon Alaimalo, Justin Olam and our veteran front rower, David Clemmer. Looking at the Cowboys, they'll be without a couple of crucial middles in Jason Dalmalolo and Ruben Cotter. So Sam McIntyre starts in the front row, and Harrison Edwards will be joining the bench. They also have Harlem Luki back on deck, so Finefi Wiaki stays or returns to the bench. As for our picks, there really isn't much to talk about here. With the Tigers currently being the worst team in the league, it would always be a mission for me to try and justify picking them, so we are going to steer away. Scored a big upset against them a couple of years ago, but since then, it's been all the Cowboys. 74-0, 42-28 more recently. They have won 2 out of their previous 3 games at Leichhardt Oval this season. The only loss coming to the league leaders, and in that game they looked decent in moments, but ultimately outclassed. They probably do have a shot at the Cowboys, but I won't be risking it. So we'll take the Cowboys here by 1 to 12 points, and to score a try, we'll take a piece of Harlem Luki. Kicking off the Friday doubleheader, we have the Warriors hosting the Eels in Auckland Go Media Stadium. A couple of massive ends for the Warriors as they welcome back Chance Nickel-Klukster and Sean Johnson. So making way for these 2 RTS moves to the wing, and Ed Gossi along with Tamaire Martin drop out of the 17. Looking at the Eels, not much to talk about here as there are no changes made. Now, our pick for this game, 12th playing 16th, a lot on the line for the Warriors here as they look to make a push back into the top 8, so I will be taking the Warriors. The Eels are actually ahead in the head-to-head, winning 25 from 42 played, and more recently they are 1-1. As for their form heading into this, the Warriors, they are 2 from their previous 5, and the Eels haven't won for quite some time. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little iffy taking the Warriors with SJ back. He didn't look too hot in his return game a few weeks ago, but I will be staying with them. Coming up against the statistically 2nd worst team in the league. Like the first match, there isn't really much to talk about, so give me the Warriors, give me 13+, and we're going to do it again. We are going to jump on Marata Niukore. I don't think he's scored yet, so fingers crossed Sean Johnson puts him over. And headlining our Friday night, we have the Fins hosting the Roosters at HBF Park, Perth. Looking at the ins and outs, it is the same team for the Dolphins, so we'll shift over to the Roosters, and they get a huge boost to their back line with Joey Muddle making his return. Skimming through, that is the only change. Alright, so with the short history of the Fins in the NRL, both teams from 2 played are 1-1, and looking at recent form, the Fins haven't looked too hot. They currently 1 from 5, and the Roosters 4 from 5, so who do we look to for this match? I'm not gonna lie, I do think the Dolphins have the style to beat the Roosters, but that Roosters pack on paper is just too good to look past, so we're going to take the Chooks in this. They will be at full strength. I don't think they'll get a big win, so we'll take them 1 to 12 points. And to bag a meat pie, I do see Cody Nikodima, so we'll take Angus Crichton. Kicking off the Saturday triple header, we have a game between the Titans and the Broncos at Cbus Super Stadium. Oh man, let's check these ins and outs before we delve into our thoughts and our picks. So for the Titans, joining the reserves and most likely the 17 come game day, they got AJ Brimson and Jamin Jolliffe. And for the Broncos, they welcome back Corey Oates in for Selwyn Cobo, as well as Brendan Piakura. He's back on the left edge with Hetherington going back to the bench. Alright, so my pick in this game, it's no secret, the Broncos, they are down horrendous, season over. I do think we'll see a bounce back. I can't say make a statement, but I'm expecting these boys to put in a decent performance, regardless of what the form says. I mean, and it is in favor of the Titans. Previously 2-2 against the Broncos, and their form heading into this, they're actually looking pretty good. Currently 4 from their previous 5, as for the Bronx, 1 from their previous 5, and interestingly enough, the Titans are the underdogs. It's a little too late to call this a statement game because their season is over, but we'll take a little bit of Broncos revenge in this on the road. So give me the Bronx. Give me 1 to 12 points, and to score a try, we're going to jump on Ezra Mam. In the evening game, we have the Storm hosting the Dragons at Eden Park. For the ins and outs, Cam Munster will be starting in the 6. Tyron Wishart moves from 6 to 14, and Fa'alongo drops out of the squad. well to 18th man. For the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan back from New South Wales Cup. Toby Couchman will be replaced by Ryan Couchman, and with Murdoch Masila picking up an injury, Blake Laurie joins the bench. As for our pick in this match, and like a couple of the previous games we talked about, I do think it's pretty straightforward for the league leaders here. They have a full-strength team with their full-strength spine, Pappenhausen, Munster, Hughes and Grant. I do think they win here, and I do think they win quite comfortably with 13 plus points. For the Dragons, they're a bit of a mixed bag. You never know what you're going to get. I'm not confident at all to pick an upset. And an interesting stat here, they've never won at Amy Park, so they're 0 from 6 attempts. But yeah, I'm in the Storm, 13 plus, and we'll jump on Ryan Pappenhausen to bag us some meat pie. And headlining the Saturday festivities, we have the Sharkies hosting the Rabbitohs at PointsBet Stadium. Looking at ins and outs, we have, for the Sharks, Will Kennedy back on deck from his suspension. Straight back into the 1 jersey, Ronaldo Mulitalo will be out, so Sam Stonestreet plays on the wing. Royce Hunter's back on deck. Hazelton the other outs for the week. And looking at the Rabbitohs, skipper Cam Murray is back. Duncan moves to the bench. And they do have a debutant. Fletcher Myers will be on the wing for Alex Johnston, who was gone for the season. Also back on deck is depth outside back Richie Kenner, so Michael G. Cam moves back into the forward pack. As for our pick, the Sharkies have actually looked decent without Nico Hines. I'm wondering if the return of Cam Murray is enough to turn the ship around for the Bunnies. They are 3 from their previous 5 in comparison to the Sharkies 1 from their previous 5. In their last 2 meetings, the Sharks have quite comfortably beat them. Oh, let's not say comfortable, it's been fairly close games. But yeah, form-wise, the Bunnies are in, I guess, better form compared to the 4th ranked Sharks. Is it enough for me to tip an upset? No. The Sharks have only won 6 out of 20 games played at this venue, so there's that. And even though the Sharks haven't been looking too hot, their losses, they've been pretty tight games. So we're going to back the Sharkies here to get another bounce back against the Bunnies. We'll go 1 to 12 points at home, and to score a try, we're going to look towards the rookie centre Kale Edel, who has gotten plenty of action these past few weeks. And to close out the week, a Sunday doubleheader. Panthers taking on the Knights in the first game, this being played at Bluebet Stadium. Looking at the ins and outs, the Panthers will be without the injured James Fisher-Harris, so Lindsay Collins starts, and joining the bench, Matt Eisenhuth. Also with Dill Edwards already injured, and Dane Laurie going down with a head knock last week, the Panthers are set to debut Isaiah Dongi, so he'll be one to watch. I have no clue who the lad is, and I'm pretty keen to see how he does. As for the Knights, their halfback Jackson Hastings has been dropped for what feels like the 10th time this season. So Phoenix Crossland, he moves into the 7. Jaden Braley starts at hooker, just when I got rid of him in fantasy. You hate to see. Also without Bradman Best, they get Dylan Lucas in the centres again, as he's done this season, and Adam Elliott will be joining the back row. The new face on the bench is Jack Cogger. Geez, a lot of these matches of this week seem like pretty straightforward picks, but it almost never works out that way. And saying that, I will be on the Panthers, of course. Currently on a 3-game winning streak, Nathan Cleary coming off a monster performance last week. I think he goes nuclear again and continues to up until finals, just to prove a little points. Surprisingly, the Knights do have a decent little record at PointsBet, winning 10 of their 19 games played, but yeah, this might actually be a close game, especially without the meter eater in Dill Edwards. Actually, nah, give me the Panthers 13 plus and Liam Martin to score a try. And to close out round 22, we head over to Balmore Sports Ground where the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs host the Canberra Raiders. Looking at the ins and outs, the Dogs, they welcome back Steve Carton and Josh Addo-Carr. So Karaz moves back to the wing, and Blake Wilson, Jarrell Skelton, they fall out. Looking at Sticky's men, there are no changes. As for our pick in this match, the Battle of Grit, these two teams somewhat similar, although I do think the Bulldogs have plenty more points in them. I said that about the Raiders last week and they ended up putting 32 on the Rabbitohs. But yeah, I do favour the Bulldogs here. I'm high off that win against the Broncos where they put on an absolute masterclass. Couldn't be mad, honestly. You just got to tip your hat to the performance. I think we'll see something similar here with this big Canberra pack. The Bulldogs just moving them around the park and unsettling their edges is what I'm looking for. As for try scorers in this game, first of all, that's a Bulldogs 13 plus, by the way. And back to the try scorer, I'm going to jump on Critter. And that about wraps up this week's tips and predictions. As always, boys, if you do have any tips and predictions of your own, let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to run and share the like button, and for more rugby league related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.